I want to introduce you to Randy and Kyla Hunter. This couple have been backpack traveling together for over 10 years. They now have 2 children under the age of 6, and together they are a backpacking family who go out and explore local culture all over the world. Here's more of Kyla and Randy's story. Thank you, Randy and Kyla, for inviting me into your home, and I love the world map of the places you guys have all traveled. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's been like since you guys turned 30?
I don't know. Our life since we've turned 30 has probably been the most hectic it's ever been. We're running a business. We've traveled a little bit, not as much as we had when we were younger, but we have grand aspirations to do a lot in our lives, and we're just finding it difficult to find the time and energy and resources to do it all. But we're definitely making a go of it. That's for sure.
Working on it.
Yeah.
So you guys did a lot of backpacking before you turned 30. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, our first big trip together, I guess we backpacked. We backpacked around Europe. We started with Kentucky because I wasn't sure how he would handle it because he hadn't really done a ton of traveling before. So we did a Kentucky tour for 18 days. By the time we were done with that, we were done with the tour. That was it for us, and headed off on our own, and just really enjoyed jumping around and seeing what there was to see, and realized that there was more that we wanted to do. So that's all our Europe pins up there. And then
Well, and that was the end of the Kentucky tour. Was the end of tours in general for us. Like we're off of it. We're done. We basically came to the conclusion that we're not tour people. And she's an excellent
schemer.
Are you what they call a hacker?
She tries to be a point hacker.
I do point hack. Oh yeah.
Fantastic. I'm gonna have to learn some lessons from you.
I don't know that I got all figured out. I'm working on it. Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is you're the best travel agent I know.
Yeah, well, because I'm the only one you know.
In the last whatever it's been 10 years since we've started traveling, we've only had 2 mistakes really, and she's done all of our bookings, all of our travel arranging, understanding where we're going to be, how long we're going to be there, what our plans are, where we're going to stay that night, how we're going to get from point A to point B, and all fairly flawless. So it's pretty good. She spends a lot of time doing a lot of research beforehand, but we've definitely had some awesome experiences, and all based off of the knowledge that she's accrued along the way.
Yeah, I made a comment one day about, maybe if we're talking about doing Middle East, and maybe we could take a couple days, like 4 or 5 days, and do a guided tour through Egypt or something. And Randy's like, well, why do we do that? Because, it might be nice to not have to do everything myself. And he's like, what do you mean? Everything's always fun. I'm like, yeah, because I always put a ton of effort into it. So, he has a guided tour all the time.
Yeah.
And so you guys did a lot of backpacking. I know I talked to you about the leaders of backpack you guys had when you started out.
Yeah.
We both were big backpack people to begin with, realizing very quickly when you're lugging around, your full 50 pounds that you can fly with on your back, plus
kids.
Well, kids on top of that, but even before kids.
The baby
backpack. The belly backpack, exactly.
The little kid and the big kid is what I call it.
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah.
And, we realized really quickly that you can't move very quickly or have any fun when you're loaded down.
Yeah, and usually 50 pounds each means 30 pounds on my back and 70 pounds on his, except when we're flying. So, really no fun for anybody.
So it's not fun. So with that being said, we've kind of gone on a bit of a mission lately.
Yours was 80 liters?
Maybe
70?
more. I
At
don't.
one time.
Yeah,
Well, it's still
original.
here.
Yeah, still downstairs. Yeah.
We could pull it out and look at it.
We will be.
Yeah, and mine was 60. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you have a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old. Is that correct?
They're 3 and 4 now.
3 and 4. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you have a 3 and a 4-year-old who also go backpacking with you guys now. So how many liters of backpack do you guys have as a family?
So.
Mine's 48.
48, 36.
And the kids are 18.
And the kids are 18.
Yeah. So really, you're going with less backpack space now than you were when you were 20s.
Yeah.
Okay. And yet you're still choosing to go backpacking with your children to various places. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, we want to show our kids the world, basically. I think the best education is not by sitting and learning about it, it's by going and experiencing. Yeah. So that's a big reason why we want to travel. I think it's an excuse because I just want to travel, and so by making my kids the excuse for it, it works really well. But yeah, it's just something that we're both really passionate about. Yeah. And giving our kids those opportunities and those experiences and that time together as a family. Mm-hmm. We really, home is busy, home is crazy, home is hectic. There's always something to be doing. Mm-hmm. Traveling and getting away is really good family time. And
it seems like, not to say it's our only family time, but it's our best quality family time by far. Yeah. Because, like she said, you just take those distractions, the real life stuff out of the way. Yeah. You can't be sitting going, I have to mow the lawn, or I have to get to work, or I have to do this, because it's not there. Yeah. So your focus then becomes, what are we doing together as a group, and what are we going to do? How are we going to make it the best? And it's by being together and experiencing something together, right?
Yeah. And I have a theory that the less money you spend traveling, the more local experience you get. So if we, travel, if you go anywhere really and stay in a fancy hotel and eat at fancy restaurants, all you're doing is seeing this pre-packaged tourist package. You're not really experiencing the local culture. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you spend less money, you're going to stay probably not in the center of tourist town, but out in a local community with other travelers who you can learn from, mistakes and places you want to go and great place to eat. You're eating more local food because you're spending less money on it, and it's just more local.
And so you guys have also done some backpacking as a couple away from the children. And how is that in comparison to having the children now?
So much easier.
It's liberating. It's so much fun. I mean, we love our kids dearly, but we went on a really nice trip to France this fall, and it was just so simple. Mm-hmm. We went with minimal luggage, carry-on only, and we had an awesome time, and it was nice.
Yeah.
What about the safety for a family? I mean, it's different when you're young and you're traveling, either you're traveling solo or you're traveling as a couple. How do you feel about the safety in having your children along? Has that changed your way of thinking at all?
To be honest with you, I feel like you're almost less of a target in a way. And the reason being is I think people on the whole are good people. Mm-hmm. And if somebody sees somebody else trying to take advantage of a 20-something backpacker, they may not stand up to it as much as somebody who's trying to take advantage of a family with small children. Right? So like if I'm walking down the subway and I see a family with kids and somebody trying to pickpocket, I will probably step in. And that's just my feeling, but I mean, we had our kids in Southeast Asia when they were very small, and I just feel like the general public was very intrigued by us and also looking out for our best interests, right?
Yeah.
I don't
safety
know.
Really, it is. Everyone's always concerned about our safety when we travel. Yeah. But it's nothing that we don't think about it. Yeah. I guess we just go and you're careful what you do and where you go, just like you would be on your own. But I don't think kids have really changed that, other than you're maybe a little bit more cautious when you're crossing the street. No. That's about it.
And do you guys stay in hostels when you go in these backpacking vacations with your kids, or do you choose hotels?
We guest house. Okay. Usually is what we've done. So not quite a hostel, but not a hotel. We have our own room, although we did hostel in Alaska this summer.
And we've done apartments.
Apartments,
as well, like VRBO apartment type stuff.
Yeah, and Airbnb.
Airbnb, it's just, especially with kids, it's nice to have our own space. And I don't want to subject other people to my kids when they're sleeping. During the day, I don't care. But we did dorm rooms in Alaska at a couple different places, and we just made sure that it was a 4-bedroom dorm, so it was just us in there because nobody else wants to be dealing with my screaming child in the middle of the night, or when they fall out of bed, which happens. So
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Can you guys list some of your most amazing moments or accomplishments that have happened since you turned 30?
The big one, I guess, would be the business.
Yeah.
Professionally and personally.
That
I
was
think
before we turned 30.
Well,
Technically.
it was on the cusp. It was on the cusp.
Technically.
It was right on the cusp. That would be a big one, I think.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think just life has been an accomplishment.
Yeah.
To be honest, like the trips that we've done with the kids, and to me, my biggest accomplishment since I turned 30 was when somebody asked Kyla what she was gonna do when she grew up, and she said, "I'm gonna visit the Eiffel Tower this many times."
Fantastic.
So that was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not necessarily a money accomplishment in that one. That's your child getting the purpose and the things that they can learn from in adventure and travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the desire to do, and the fact that when she was asked what she was going to do when she grew up, her first thought wasn't what she was going to be as a career. It was travel. I'm going to travel
Something to accomplish in life.
Yeah, a life accomplishment. Yeah.
So I personally believe that it takes a special type of attitude to get to these accomplishments. Can you guys talk a little bit about your attitudes when it comes to this stuff?
You sound like you want to say something.
Or is it the Kyla
I roll
attitude?
I roll around here talking about Kyla's bad attitude. So,
Gets us
Yeah.
into these messes.
sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you have to be motivated. I always say, and he makes fun of me, I'm a schemer. I always need to have something going on. There always needs to be something coming next.
Yeah.
Not being happy to just sit down and be content with what's going on. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's just always got to be something else to do. So I'm constantly scheming up what to do next. 90% of the time, that's travel related.
Okay.
And I think that's a big part of it, is just that constantly looking to the future, looking for something else to do. Not necessarily bigger and better, just different, right?
Yeah.
A different experience. What else is out there, without at the same time missing out on what's happening right now, I think is important. But yeah, and being motivated and a little bit fearless too. I think you just have to kind of throw the fear away and say, let's just do it.
Randy?
I mean, it's all about being just kind of open and, the pursuit of something new. But I think that one thing that most people, just in general, when it comes to travel at least, they're just kind of, this is what I do. I go to Mexico on my all-inclusive once a year, and that's my travel. And they think that they're getting travel experience, but what they're doing is they're going somewhere warm. And going somewhere warm doesn't really provide you with anything new. So it's all about seeking the new, the unforeseen, the ability to find something in yourself that you didn't know was there, right? And I don't know if that's an attitude per se, but it's definitely a way of life or a way of looking at the world, which I think we've adopted fairly well.
Did you guys always have that attitude?
I did.
It's evolved within me.
I guessed you did, but I need to ask.
I know, yeah.
I grew up in a very small town in Manitoba, and I'd never eaten like ethnic food, so to speak, until I'd moved to university in Calgary. And even then it was like all new experiences, and just like going out for Indian food was such a big profound thing, or going for sushi. And like now it's like it's the only thing we do.
What can I get from the street market now?
Well, and really that's the way it is. Like
and not fearing that you're gonna get some GI bug, right?
Well, and sometimes you do.
And sometimes you do.
But you can get that from the restaurant too, and
exactly.
you're maybe more likely to get from the restaurant. Who knows?
We I mean, and when it all comes down to travel for me now, it's basically like street food. Let's go find some street food. And you talk to some people who've been, let's say, Thailand, and they go, oh yeah, well we went and then we were so afraid to eat, so all we did was like have bananas because they're in their own self-protected shell kind of thing, right? But for me now, it's like boy, something smells really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
Let's
find
go
it
find
and
it.
eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
we did that actually when we were in Nicaragua here a couple months ago. And I ended up with something.
You got so sick.
I got so sick. But all in all,
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was. It really wasn't. It was a terrible street food, but nonetheless, it was still the experience, right? And we were there. We met up with some friends that we'd been at a wedding in Costa Rica with, and we had a great time. And we were wandering down the street, and we got some street food, and it was one of those experiences that, regardless of the outcome, it was still good and awesome. And I wouldn't replace it to have my one day of not feeling well back. So.
Yeah. And would you have done that at 18?
I don't know.
Yeah. Right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And I think
I'm
it's
obviously
also
willing to
part of the experience of having to go through that experience too,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, okay, well, I did pretty good for 3 months, so I mean that's not bad. 1 in 3 months, or or 1 in 5 years. Okay, I'm doing good.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to other
well,
people.
yeah, that's the only time I think I have gotten sick.
only time.
And I mean, we ate nothing but street food when we were in Vietnam, for sure.
Yeah.
We ended up going on a river cruise of the Mekong Delta with a couple people from Red Deer, and they were just flabbergasted that we ate the street food in where were we?
Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi Minh at the time,
Yeah.
yeah. And they were just like, they
Couldn't
couldn't
get it.
even fathom it.
No.
They're like, there's no way we would do that. Like, we are only eating at the 5-star restaurants, and they're not living.
No.
You know?
Because the street food was so good.
Yeah. And I think that kind of ties into my next question is, how do you overcome fears and negative thinking?
I think overcome fear just by the knowledge that the best experiences come when you step out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And so being fearful means you're probably setting yourself up for something really good.
So fear and negative thinking.
Yeah, I think, to me, fear is the fear of the unknown is what makes it so exciting. And that's just, I don't know if that in itself is an attitude. I feel like we don't really go into travel with a lot of fear, and maybe it's planning. Maybe that's how I deal with fear. Mm-hmm. Is I make sure that I do my research and I've got a pretty good idea of what we're getting ourselves into, and so I'm not as fearful because there's a little bit of knowledge there, right? And then negative attitudes, I think we just shrug our shoulders and say, life happens and we're going to do what we're going to do. Hi, sweetie. Do you want to come here? Come sit with Daddy.
Who's that little girl on the
Who's
screen?
that?
You. And how about you, Randy? How do you overcome fears and the negative thinking?
I mean, I guess when we are looking at going somewhere new that's maybe higher risk, it passes through my mind. But the thought of it's all going to be okay usually overcomes, and the experience tends to be worth the risk, I guess. But outside of that, like I said before, I think that generally most people are fairly good-hearted all around the globe.
Okay. Hi, girls. Hi. You gonna come say hi too? Oh. Who's that? Can you see yourself?
We have a big nest.
You can sit for a couple minutes.
We're talking about all your guys' trips.
You
Do
gonna
you
stay?
have a backpack?
What color is it?
What color is your
just talk.
backpack? Is it pink?
What,
No.
what color's your travel backpack?
Red.
It's red. What color's yours?
Green.
It's green. What color's Dad's?
Blue.
His cubes are blue. What color's his backpack?
Red.
What about Mom's?
Pink.
Pink, red, green, red, and pink? Wow. If you could give one piece of advice to people around the world, what would it be?
That's a tricky one. I so cliche, but I would just say follow your dreams. If there's something that you want to do, figure it away and do it, and don't let other people stop you or other people's negative attitudes get in your way.
You want to be a star.
You just want to touch that chord. Hey?
Yeah. And how about you?
It might sound a little bit like a Nike slogan, but just do it. Like, just
Yeah.
go. whatever it may be, if it pops into your mind, the only way to find out if it's any fun or any good is to just dive in, and I guess that kind of counteracts the whole planning and being prepared for it. But I guess that maybe just draws back to the emotional, personal, internal thing is, arm yourself with the knowledge maybe and make sure that you know what you want to do, but just do it.
My friend calls it organized crazy.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And it he does just do it. He just goes. I tell him where we're going, but he just goes, right? So, yeah, organized crazy. I like that.
What are your guys' future plans when it comes to travel and things that you see for the next 10 years?
It's right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's up on the wall.
So the black line is the plan.
The black line is the plan. Yeah, we're hoping to do a couple of smaller, 6-week long trips before that, just to make sure that we can stick to the budget that we want to use for around the world and make sure that the girls don't drive us completely crazy. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Start here and go one direction or the other, depending on the time of year we leave. So.
And that's starting?
Hopefully 3 years. The goal is 3 years. And then we'd like to take 5 years and then do it again. So we're doing it twice before the kids get too old. Not the same trip, obviously, but take a year and just go.
And what would you be doing about their schooling at that time? Homeschooling?
We'll figure it out.
World schooling.
Yeah.
World school. Yeah, make sure we still keep math up and reading and writing, but the experience that they will get traveling will far outweigh anything that they get in the classroom at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious about some more things that Kyla's got up her sleeve? How about how she teaches me how to pack a backpack? On October 28th, there'll be a video coming out on the YouTube channel North of 35, Latitudes and Attitudes. Check under the Travel Tips playlist and see what myself and Kyla are up to.